Has seen that all too well this morning, unfortunately. We go to him in University City. Damon, we see the umbrella, but behind you, it looks like a river.
You upstairs? You need help? We got someone who's up on the roof and showing you just how bad this still is up there, stuck up there. I don't know if you can see it. We're going to flag somebody over here for you. Okay, we'll get somebody over here for you. It's really, I mean, just when you think this is over, it's getting a lot worse. The rain just picked up. We're going to get somebody over here for her because this street, if you can see, it's extremely bad. You see multiple cars flooded in this area. We've even got this high voltage building right here that's smoking. So we're going to go and try to find some help for this woman. We do have Ameren and other emergency services on scene, but I'm going to toss it back to you, Laura, because, again, the situation is so dire out here. It is not, we're not out of the woods yet. So I'll be back very, very shortly. I'm going to send it back to you.
And we're going to send you out to our Julia Avery. She's out in St. Louis County. And Julia, you've talked to someone who's had some trouble out there.
Yeah, Maurice, we're in the city of St. Louis, but we're right next to Maplewood. We're in the Ellendale neighborhood where the water came up so high that people started evacuating their homes. I'm actually with a family that had to do that right now. Right now, they are in a car wash just to have something over their head. They have the whole family here. They have their dogs here, dogs soaking wet, because they've been through so much this morning. At 4 a.m. they had to start getting out of their home. And we have Andrew Schaefer here, who, tell me how all of this started. You had to carry your children from your home?
Yes, the water, my neighbor said the water started shooting out of the storm sewer like a geyser, like 4, 5, 6 feet in the air. My daughter woke me up and said the water was coming in the basement. It was coming in like a waterfall. The water completely filled my 6.5, 7 foot deep basement in a matter of 15 minutes. We called the fire department. Fire department said they're on their way. They showed up. They sat at the end of the street. I carried all 3 of my dogs and my 3 kids and my wife out. And the fire department was told that there were kids still in the neighborhood, and they just said there's nothing we can do unless they're elderly. As they were backing out, I was carrying my last kid out. Still had to get my wife. And, you know, this has happened before. About 7 years ago, the neighborhood flooded due to an MSD failure. So, you know, and my neighbor's saying the water's going back up, and I still got neighbors trapped down there. So I need to get back down there and help them. I'm sorry.
And it's our understanding you've done a tour in Iraq, you've worked as a police officer into action, and you walked into what you said was neck-deep water.
Yeah, it was up to here. I had to stand on my tiptoes when I was carrying my oldest one out. It started to recede a little bit, but not much. You could only see the top of my SUV, my Explorer, about that much. And so there's dips throughout the neighborhood. So it was, you know, I had to feel by hand the fences and knew where I was walking, but it was just by sheer luck and happenstance that we were able to get everybody out. But I had to make 7 trips with 3 dogs. Got 3 dogs out, 3 kids, and my wife. So.
And now you're saying that you've heard there's other people trapped, and you want to go back and get them as well.
Yeah, I mean they're my neighbors, and that's what you do. So if you don't mind, I'd like to get to it.
Of course. Thank you so much for your time. Good luck. As they're recommending, don't even come outside. But for families like this, they did not have a choice this morning, and they were forced to evacuate their home. There are other places in this car wash where there are families sheltering underneath this awning just to stay dry and dry off after this crazy morning that they've had. Claire, Maurice, Kent.
A dangerous and desperate situation that people are dealing with right now. And you got to think at this point, St. Louis Fire and Rescue, it's going to be a pretty busy morning trying to get folks rescued.
But that father, water up to his neck, like as a mom, I'm thinking, oh, he's carrying his children out. I mean, these are the situations, the very scary situations families are dealing with in our area. Right now, we want to check in with the meteorologist, Leah Hill. Just about an hour or so ago, she was in the storm center with Kent. Now, Leah, along Interstate 70 at Cary, giving us an idea what the flash flooding looks like out there.
It's a mess. I've counted about 5 cars that are stranded on the side of the road, and 3 of them are in the water, and the water is nearly up to the roof of their car. I don't see any people outside of those cars, so it looks like they were able to get them out, which is good news, but it is stopped. You cannot drive 70 going eastbound towards downtown. As you approach Cary, it is just stopped. I mean, it is a parking lot there. And even on the westbound side, not much better. We are still seeing those cars basically at a standstill. I'm seeing people getting out of their cars and taking pictures, which in this kind of situation you don't want to do. I know that this is something we haven't seen in a while, this much rain and this flooding on the roadways, but I have seen some people getting out of their cars just to take pictures, and that can cause a whole other host of problems. So if you just want to stay off this road. If you're going westbound or eastbound, you're really not going to be getting anywhere. It has just been a mess here. And thankfully, I haven't seen any other cars try to drive through that flooded road, and it looks like the westbound direction it's barely moving, but some cars are starting to get through. We're not seeing those flooded problems like we are on the eastbound side. Dangerous situation here. I'd recommend people just stay home until this passes and the water goes down.
Yeah, great advice out there, Leah. Thank you very much. Right now, we're going to talk with Captain Chris Hunt, the Regional Director of Emergency Management in St. Charles County. Can you tell us what kind of situations we're dealing with right now in St. Charles County?
Good morning. Yeah, we're dealing with the main thing we're dealing with is water rescues. We have a lot of those pending right now. We're dependent upon a lot of mutual resources across the state, from SEMA, the Highway Patrol, our fire districts, our ambulance districts. So the water rescues are our main focus right now.
And that's one of the reasons, Captain Hunt, somebody from St. Charles County called our newsroom here at News 4 and said if you could please ask people just to stay at home right now. I mean, you are overwhelmed with calls for water rescues.
That's correct. Our police departments are inundated with calls for people driving around barricades thinking that they can get through these waters. The waters are swelling so quickly because of the amount of rain that we've gotten. It's very unpredictable how high the water will get. So we're just begging and urging people not to go around the barricades. And if they can stay home for a little while and go to work a little bit later today, it'd probably ease up on our first responders.
Reporter Caroline Hecker from our CBS affiliate KMOV will start us off from St. Peters, Missouri. Good evening, Caroline.
Good evening, Nora. Here in St. Peters, just northwest of St. Louis, it's been soaked with more than a foot of rainfall, a lot of which fell before sunrise, leaving many residents here forced to flee these floodwaters in darkness, risks of getting trapped. St. Louis woke up underwater.
It's really coming up rather quickly.
By 7 a.m., 8 inches of rain had fallen, shutting down 4 major highways into the city.
It's all boxed in. There's nowhere for the water to go.
Roads were overwhelmed. Cars drowned in the waters were left abandoned, with homes and businesses not spared from the historic flash flooding.
Looks like they have one individual.
First responders across the area ferried more than 100 residents from their drenched homes and trapped vehicles, while others waded through waist-deep waters.
There was no water inside here at 8 o'clock this morning.
At least one person was found dead in a submerged vehicle.
We have pulled a civilian out of a vehicle that has passed.
The flooding prompted rescues at multiple animal shelters, but it was too late for 10 puppies that drowned at Stray Paws Rescue.
They're bringing out 9 big dogs, but unfortunately we lost all of our puppies.
As the rain moved on, many took refuge in shelters while they figure out their next steps.
Hopefully stuff's still there, and at this point just glad to be in one piece.
Officials said late this afternoon the threat is not over. 4 more inches of rain could fall, which could lead to more flooding and damage to homes. Nora?
The highways, that's been a big issue all morning long. This view right here is from Interstate 64 near Grand, and MoDOT workers out there trying to clear all the stuff away from the grates. The highway and all surrounding it basically became a pool. Drivers stuck or waiting away from their cars that got stalled and flooded. Now a look at this video, this one also from the city of St. Louis. A neighborhood this morning, just really like a lake in some cases. The water up almost to the top of the vehicles. This is right off McCausland and Southwest, basically as you cross from the city into Maplewood. People wading through that high water. That man right there in the blue hat, it's almost up to his shoulders at that point. We'd want to warn you, don't do something like like that because you just never know how deep it is or what dangers might be beneath the surface that you simply can't see. Our team coverage at noon now moves to University City, where our Damon Arnold has been for us all morning long. He's live this afternoon with the latest from there. Damon?
Yeah, Claire, you know, we've been out here. We've witnessed all kinds of devastation this morning, and I heard that there was a fatality, and I can't tell you how much that hurts because, you know, it was a lot going on today, and I know a lot of people have been displaced, but we are at the apartments here. This is half their court apartments that were affected. A lot of people staying on the bottom level here. You can see this is the flood line where that water reached up to, showing you just how high that is. If I'm next to it, you can see that's at my shoulder, but I'm standing on higher ground, so if you come around and actually look inside, you can see that it got all the way up to where about my neck is. That's about at least, what, 5 feet, 5 inches tall. I mean, so much devastation this morning. We're told that people had to climb out or swim out of these windows. You can see this is peeled back because they pretty much kicked this out, showing you just how high, again, those waters got. We did speak with someone who lived here, who was at the shelter or waiting to be transported to a shelter, to explain to us what happened. Take a listen.
I heard some thunder early this morning. You know, didn't think much of it, went back to sleep, and then a couple hours later just heard some water coming in the apartment. Woke up and there was a couple feet in and just kept going up. So what did you do? Wound up getting out had to actually go out one of the windows and go up to the second floor. Neighbor on the second floor let me in, and fire department came by and said, hey, yeah, y'all stay put, because we got a lot of people to help right now.
We just witnessed some of the residents that have been coming back. They've entered this apartment here trying to see what's salvageable. Again, we found pictures in this area. We've seen shoes. We've seen cars. All of these things completely ruined. And again, it just goes to show you that people's lives have been changed. Yes, the traffic was terrible, but people are going to have to rebuild from this. And so it's something we're going to be staying on top of. Of course, bringing you any updates on air as well as online at KMOV.com. I'm reporting live in U City. Damon Arnold, News 4.